All right, let's stretch out for this one. Ah, ow. Okay. Integrify.org.au, spending public funds better. Okay. Use cases, a hospital. Whoops. That's the whole thing. I'm just going to talk through this whole document. People listen to this video. So, use cases. A hospital needs more funds. No problem. They can simply put up a crowdfunding page saying what they need the money for, and they will use the Integrify system. So all funders get live email updates on where the money is being spent instantly. A school needs more funds to improve the technology lab, whatever it may be. Paying for cleaning up the environment. Funding a Kickstarter campaign. These are the type of systems Integrify can be used for. Spending public funds better. And then here's something I thought of when I've been thinking about this for a while. There is no such thing or difference between a charity, a government, or business. They only serve as good as the people running them. Thomas Miller. And then, I've explained this idea over the years to a number of people. And one of the things that my good friend Felix said is that, some charities, some governments, they won't want to do this. But what we can say to them is it's never too late to make things right. So, yeah, it's never too late to make things right. So the backstory to all this is, if we scroll down here, background information and links. I'm not going to click on all of these. But Surf Lifesaving, the club collects and spends 85% of its collected funds. Charities are spending upwards of 60% of donations on administration costs. That's fine, but what does that mean? Okay, Australian charities are not profit and not for profits commission. They're sort of actually screaming out for a system like this. The Australian Charity Guide. The sector needs to lead on trust and confidence before it's left behind. So this article came out on the 19th of July by a very forward-thinking lady. What's her name? Tessa Boyd Kane, and she's saying that basically charities and public sector need to start doing transparent spending, and that's what do I mean by that? I mean over here. You should be able to go and donate money to Greenpeace or whatever charity or whatever government, and then you should be able to subscribe for financial updates, and then you should be able to get emails. And what we want is it will become industry standard that all charities will show their live financial news feed on their website, and if they don't, nobody will fund them. So that's kind of the big idea, and obviously there's going to be a lot of resistance, so we'll just see. And there's also a lot of people that are just really happy. Then I just put another article, the joke of paying $1,600 just to be a philanthropist. And here's a great article. The White House turns to crowdfunding to fund Syrian refugee crisis. The future of governance and the future of public funds is all about crowdfunding. So I'm just going to read this. So integrify.org. So summary. People are left confused on exactly how public funds are spent. If funds are public, then the public should also have the ability to be instantly notified on when and where energy or public funds are spent. I refer to money as energy because that's all it really is. There is no trust in the system when people wait for an unverified accountant's report every quarter. Okay, it's very easy just to write anything on that document. So the global information technology infrastructure is advancing to the point where we can actually program real-time updates on pretty much any statistic, including how we spend energy or money. So bringing some of the latest advancements in technology, we can build a system where donators donate, and then they can subscribe for email follow-ups or email updates and follow the story instantly on where money is being spent, and they can even comment on those news feeds of the money. Because, personally for me, the real news is where the money's going, okay? Everything else is just complete noise and speculation. I'm sick of speculating. I'd rather just like to know the facts. Where's the money going? What's it being spent on? Was that a wise decision? Can we spend it better? That's all I want to know. So Donator can get live email updates on so this is the benefits, can get live email updates on exactly when their donated money is spent and with what merchant. If money is crowdfunded, everyone from the crowdfund can subscribe to get live updates on where the money is spent and with what merchant. It will ensure money is spent wisely. It will create more accountability. When money is spent incorrectly, it will fuel a debate and get more heads thinking about the issues. This will encourage people to think wisely about where money is spent again. This solves marketing issues for public entities. The transparent spending entity won't have to worry about marketing. People will come to the site just to see a log of where the energy is being spent. So it's going to kind of, in a big way, remove the need for this selling and this marketing. We just, because we can see the facts. We can see where the money is going. We can see what actions are being caused by money moving into people's different bank accounts. So resistance. Some may argue it may create more bureaucracy, but the only thing this technology is doing is informing people, which actually just builds more trust. Some may argue this is not a good idea because there are things we spend money on that people wouldn't agree with. Well, if that's the case, there is a conflict of interest between the donor and the receiver, and the partnership should never have happened. We can already get bank feeds from bank accounts. Why don't we just use them? Well, we can, and that may be an option, but integrating with an old banking system just slows down innovation. Benefits to crowdfunding campaign. They will get more funders because there is more trust on where the funds are going to be spent. So I'm going to talk a little bit more. So I've just spoken a little bit about the end goal before, but basically money is donated into a bank account, Australian bank account, whatever country. Donator is told to subscribe to the company website for financial notifications, and they could subscribe for weekly or every email. An email is sent to the donator every time money is spent. Every time their money is spent, let's just state the obvious. Every time their money is spent, they actually earned that money, that energy, and they gave it to this entity to spend on their behalf to improve whatever they need to, that entity is saying they're going to improve. So, or a weekly summary email. So this is all possible now, and I'm just going to talk through some stages. So this is the stages and under the hood and the infrastructure that we can pull together and we can make it happen, all in a completely transparent way. By the way, these yellow boxes here, does this interest you? Definitely subscribe to stay up to date with this whole advancement. So I'm going to explain this now, and also the costs that it's going to take to actually pull this off. And it's got an awesome monetization or sustenance strategy to actually make this, even continue to get even stronger, and we can really cause this to just be a really cool system. So stage one is to publish Uphold bank accounts online. So Uphold is just a brilliant company that actually can hold a store of value in a lot of different currencies. Definitely go and check them out. You can go to uphold.com, and they don't practice fractional reserve lending, so that's a really good thing. So they're really just not a bank. So watch that video there to see their vision. They got a beautiful vision. And guess what? You can press on transparency on the top left-hand side here, and you can actually look at their bank accounts live. All right, this is what they've got in their bank accounts right now. You can choose to show it in any of these currencies to represent what they've got in their bank accounts. And these are the actual currencies that they're holding right now. The Australian dollar, Bitcoin, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, Ether, the euro, the British pound, Hong Kong dollar. And, they're on a beautiful mission. Gold, silver, US dollar there again. So definitely look at that because that's kind of a good engine that can power a lot of this Integrify system. And studied it. So step one, so publish Uphold bank accounts online. So keep things really simple. Each entity can have a transparent page that displays balances and the latest transactions. So if Greenpeace was going to be transparent, they could have a subdomain called transparency.greenpeace.org. If Lifebubbles was going to be transparent, they could have a domain transparency.lifebubbles.org, or if Open Colab were going to do the same, they could do the same thing there. So what you can do here with Uphold is you can send Australian dollars just with an email address, and that entity can claim that money. But what's really powerful about this whole process, so the ability to send AUD to any business anywhere in the world, and a charity or entity can send AUD to any to any entity that has an email address, and that entity can go and claim that money and withdraw the funds to their bank account. So it's a way they can get money, but the cool thing about using Uphold is that they have an open API. So these transactions can be easily published online. So when I say easily, there's a little bit of programming behind it all. So what we want to have is, say for instance, Integrify, and we definitely do it by demonstration, just like the way Uphold are demonstrating how much money they've got in the bank. We can see here, if we look at the US dollar, right now they've got 1 billion. Oh no, it's 1 million US dollars. Let's have a look. Obligations to members. So in obligations, in US dollars, they've got 1.3 million, and in the bank they've actually got is 1.334. So you can see that 1,307,000, and they've actually got in the bank a little bit more than that, which is 1,334,000. So that's what we'd do. We'd have a similar page. So check out how we burn cash. So I'm just being funny there, but main account, second account, current balance, and it would show how much is in there. And then it would show a news feed of the money that's been spent. So you can see I went to KFC in Kedron. I never go to KFC, but I just did. But you could post a comment on that and say, was that a wise spending of funds? You can see I spent some money with Facebook there. Was that wise? Spent some money with Flash Fibers to get some good internet. Was that wise? People can comment. And we want them to get involved in the thinking of where their public funds are being spent. So subscribe for financial updates and email, and they can checkbox for a weekly updates or daily or whatever. So this is just phase one. Now, the marketing of this company is kind of solved because everyone's a bit of a sticky beak. I always want to know what the finances of a company are doing, how much money's in the bank account, things like that. So this is the marketing, automatic marketing. Like so many companies spend like so much money on marketing. Like 50% of their budget goes on marketing for some companies, and even more for other companies. And here is a way where you can sidetrack all the marketing. If you're delivering a good product, people are very interested in where the money is being spent. So marketing and how a charity spends AUD. So once a charity or an entity goes and fills in this form here to send money to another entity, to send Australian dollars, as we can do right here, they will get an email from Uphold, but they'll also get an email. We can program that they can also get an email from Integrify to help support them. So this is actually the marketing of Integrify solved as well. So notifying the entity they have just received AUD by email. Subject, you've just received 45 Australian dollars from integrify.org via uphold.com. Hi, you've just received $45 from integrify.org.au via uphold.com. We do this because we're transparent with our finances. You can stay up to date with our finances here. So it solves the marketing issue of the company using the Integrify system as well. Please click here to create your Uphold account to claim your Australian dollars. If you would like additional information and help in how you can Integrify your business, please visit integrify.org.au and our friendly staff will be happy to help you from the Integrify team. So in the purple boxes, I've actually got an estimated cost, which I'll go through in a second. So that's actually phase one, doing that system where companies can go and send money, any type of currency, or all of these currencies. So we can plug into the open API of Integrify, so they have an open API, of Uphold, and we can make this possible. Stage two would be to program up some a Visa card system. So we can do, there's currently no blockchain Visa card system right now to use, but we could use a USD one, which is out there. There's a company called Zapo, and I've drawn a little circle down here, and we can program that up. And I'll go through the cost in a second. And then finally, back to the end goal, stage three is develop a widget for their main site. So again, it will become industry standard that they've got, these entities have got a live news feed of their financial transactions happening all the time. And there's an estimated cost for there. Just estimate, complete guesstimate. And then step four is automate and make it easy for anyone to Integrify their business without programmer assistance. and the estimated costs I haven't actually calculated there, because I think we should get through these stages first. So monetization or sustenance strategy. So we could set a little rule, just like Visa or MasterCard have done very successfully. 1% of all transactions, except they don't actually show publicly where their funds get spent after that, but 1% of all transactions reported goes to the integrify.org bank account. So to pay for updates and improvements, eventually what we'd really like to do is a 24/7 voice over IP telephone support staff to help with this giant migration from old industrial banking systems over to cloud money, and also maintenance. So I'm going to go through the costs to actually make this possible for stage 1. So just the ability to be able to send money to other companies, and also to have a news feed as in a simple website app under a subdomain transparency.integrify.org. So the cost would be research and the documentation would be about 30 hours, code up a prototype would be about 90 hours, branding and design would be 25 hours, bugs and testing 150 hours, total hours 295. So the estimated cost, if we're taking just a rough cost per hour of $90, the total cost for a better, more informed future would be $26,550. So that's pretty cheap for a better future, I think. So that's for stage 1. For stage 2, if we want to implement this Visa system, it would, if we're going to do it with the USD card, Australian dollar card, by the way, I'm not sure, I don't have the connections, I wouldn't know how to pull it together exactly to be able to do it with an Australian dollar card, but to do it with a USD card, I have the connections and can pull it together, and it would be a lot cheaper because for a number of reasons. But research documentation would be 20 hours, code up prototype would be 100 hours, branding and design 10 hours, bugs and testing 100 hours, so total hours 230, cost per hour 90, so it'd be about, total cost for a better, more informed future would be $20,700. And then the final end goal, to develop a widget for the main site, would be research documentation 20 hours, code up a prototype. So really what we're trying to do is we're just going to try and put this system here into a widget, but I'm over budgeting on this one just because I really don't know if we're going to have to recode things. So code up a prototype 100 hours because it's going to be a light version of the site, obviously, in this little newsfeed. Code up a prototype 100 hours, branding design 10 hours, bugs and testing 50 hours, so total hours 180. Cost per hour of labor would be $90, so total cost for a better, more informed future would be $16,200. And that's pretty much it. I think it'd be really cool. Like, I'm just going to leave you with a final thought. Like, if I do a Google search for a list of departments in Australia, and we got a list of departments and all agencies. Like the future that I'd like to move towards, and I'm definitely not thinking this is going to happen anytime soon in the next year or anything, but maybe in 10 years' time, or maybe sooner, potentially, all these government departments here, we could click on any of them and be able to see the finances live updated right here on the left-hand side instead of having to wait every year for a budget report. All these agencies, would love to be able to click on them. Or maybe if we could just make 10% of these agencies, or create some new agencies that demonstrate transparent spending, that would be really cool. So there's lots of them, and we've got a lot of work to do, but we've got to demonstrate ourselves as well, this type of Integrify system. So it might spawn a whole new flower of integrity across society. So I hope that you really like this. If you do want to stay up to date with this story, definitely click on this link right here and fill in this form and tell us why, jump on the Integrify notification list and tell us what doesn't excite you about this. First name, last name, mobile number, and email address, and I will email you updates as we move towards this goal, this inevitable goal of transparency. So thanks for listening. It's been 19 minutes, and if you like this, definitely subscribe. Bye-bye.